championship roster. The Diesel. We wanted to get guys like Sid, Jerry Silverman, Steve Goldberg their first championships. None of those guys have won. Murphy and I have talked about it for the last 9 years. It's not easy to win in this league, and even when you have a good team, it's still tough to take advantage of it. 4 rounds of playoff, 8 wins. In our 2015 run, it took us 6 consecutive doubleheaders and all 3-game series to get through it. So I can tell you it's not easy. This year's team, I have to kind of say this year's team began being assembled in 2013. And following the lead of great captains like Bobby Harris and Ronnie Carlin, I tried to create my own core. I call them the core 4. Murphy, Pingaro, even Doug Cohen. This year, the core 4 became 3. And along with Pat and Jimmy, our roster had a perfect mix of youth and speed and smart veterans, and we took advantage we worked our asses off. We've had a lot of BP, and we were always prepared. And seeing some of the older guys in my team get the key hits in the playoffs was very enjoyable. So before I get into my team real quick on our season, and again, it's 0-0, by the way, Buffalo Jets, so you know.
I need 14-14 to start.
I just want to thank a few people real quick. Joel Zaretsky, you have a great passion for this league, and you work hard, you face a lot of headaches, we know that. You don't cause any controversy, that's the good news. And the league events continue to get better and better every year with you. Free bagel and coffees at the finals now. And hey, let's not forget about the 4 divisions this year. Congrats again to Todd Wallman on that 9-win 2-seed. Congratulations. Doug Cohen, truly a guy. This guy is everywhere from March to November. Okay, websites, standings, stats, these videos that I know you're all enjoying as much as my table. The draft day webcasts, emceeing all-star games, even that field maintenance he does with all those fancy pool supplies he has. As Joel already alluded to, if you could just have hit, let's say, 300, you'd be getting a jacket tonight. 300. To my mock draft crew, Justin Bykowski, Justin Jacoby, Mamone, Wallman, and Doug, proving it's not a waste of time. 2 of the last 3 champs have come from our crew. Now our biggest challenge is to get Younger to finally join us. And maybe he'll beat Harris in the finals when I teach him. And lastly, my fellow captains, thank you for passing on the 2012 MVP, Justin Brock. Not once or twice, but 18 times. He make it hurt a lot and scare me constantly. But the guy, in my opinion, is the Cy Young, was that. And my squad's built totally differently if he's off the board. So real quick on our regular season, we started against Bayless at Elementary. Marty didn't have the boot on, so I knew he meant business. But of course, in a kind of typical Team Granese fashion, Justin Brock, who's protecting his body all year as a pitcher, decides to dive for a ball hit right to me. Separates his shoulder and he's off to the hospital. Second inning, not a big deal. Mock drafting, out the window. Lombardi would come in. As you know, he would later fill in for us in the playoffs, but he threw 12 pitches over the backstop, as Marty probably remembers. So it's kudos to Jim how much of a gamer he is, and he went to work and he became a great backup pitcher. For the rest of that first half, Seidenberg had a broken nose. Murphy taken out by a sniper against Jacoby. That wasn't cool. We were winning that game. We finished the first half 4-7. Could have been 7-4, 8-3, all in my mind. But the bottom line is we had to make changes, and Murph decided he was not going to be able to continue. Justin's brother Pat joined us. We moved everybody around. We brought Jimmy into third. We brought Scotty second. The outfield was fast. We put all the speed out there, and we picked things up, and we won 10 in a row. Off to the playoffs. In the playoffs, we battled one of the great captains of this decade. Fogarty, you know what I'm talking about. We played Jacoby at Union Hill Right. The guy has my number most of the time. And we put up a classic 5-hit stinker. We lost 9-0. I think they were already handing out jackets over there, but Game 2 was the turning point of the season, or the playoffs, by no doubt. We were down 7-2, couldn't get anything going. You know, guys are lining up on the fence line at Union Hill. They're just waiting for the train wreck to finish. But down 9-5 in the 8th, Justin Brock lines a missile up the middle off his brother's family jewels. Doesn't get any better. So 2 outs. But thank goodness we get a hit. We get a strange walk to Seidenberg, and then a 3-run triple heard around the world by Russ Krause, Mr. 0 for 24. Game 3 was a classic elementary low-scoring special, 3-2. Pingaro with the clutch hit. We would go on the next couple series to battle with the 2 16-win teams in Bykowski and Bayless. Bykowski beat us early, but then I went back to the write-ups, and I read, and I learned that they cover 47% of the earth, their outfield. So we had to make changes. We had to hit the ball down. And we put together a great game plan, even though Seidenberg had to be at a wedding. And Mayer came in, played the infield for the first time all year. Zach Krause dominated in the outfield, and we got through it. In the 3rd round, we had to play Bayless again. We had played him shorthanded all year. Once without Justin, and once with 8 men on a Wednesday night. So we kind of owed this guy something. And he didn't have the boot on again. I don't think he wore it all year. So the first 2 games were at East Francis because of the weather. We split them. We won the first game with a 5-run inning. They dominated us in the second game. I find out Justin got hurt during that game on the slide you guys have seen on the loop all day. It turns out that he can't walk all week. Everyone thinks we're sandbagging. Marty thinks there's no chance he's not going to come out of the off the dugout and play in Game 3. And he didn't play. But guess what? Jim Lombardi had been working since May to be a great backup pitcher, and he was ready. And that's what the Lombardis do. They're always ready to go. In that 3rd game, we started quick. We played a great game. We played defense, and we pulled it off. We won 12-9, and on to the finals we went. Harris was there ready. We were at elementary school. They took us out in Game 1. We hung in there for a while. We couldn't get runs going, and then these guys took it to us, and we lost by 10. But there was 1 weekend to go, and we were used to playing Game 3s all playoff season. Justin was at 50% the next week. He said he was ready to pitch. We had our whole defense aligned, and we were ready to go. We had a strategy in place. The wind was blowing elementary, so it was tough on both of these pitchers. And we did what we had to do. We base ran, we hit, we played D, 31 hits, 30 walks, 37 runs, and a finals victory. 30 walks. Including a 0-for-0 5-walk effort from Zach Krause. I don't know how that guy doesn't get MVP. Just me. So the bottom line is, it was a great moment. 9 years in the making for me, a culmination of a long season with a great group. And now we're going to hand out our jackets and sweatshirts. Pat, you want to help me? Sure. Younger, how are we doing on time? You're still here. All right, first I want to bring up a guy who's a great help to me. When you're a captain, you got to deal with the book, you got to coach bases, you got to deal with all this. Bernie Brock, great scorekeeper, took that off my plate. The guy even gets a little feisty during games, and I like that. Next is John Hornick. Unfortunately, John is not here with us tonight. Some would say it's a common theme, but I don't see it. Congratulations to him on winning the election. And like Joel said, I echo all the sentiments about the great job him and his council does for the league. All right. next man up, this guy's always got a ton of positive energy. He's a super teammate. The guy caught for us all year. There's nothing about this guy as a teammate I didn't like. When it was time in the draft, I was hoping to get this guy, and I was surprised actually that I got him. And with all due respect to Brad Randell, I kind of like when he calls me the skipper. John Buckley. Next up is a guy that is no stranger to the finals. He was also one of our catchers. This guy was a regular BP guy with my crew. We took BP once a week, most weeks. Guy never has anything. Everything is positive, and the guy's always thinks we can win regardless of the situation. This third final in 5 years, he won twice. Also won with Pollock. Not surprised that this guy is a backbone of championship teams on more than once. This guy always believes we can win. Paul Lombardi. Yeah. All right, next up, one of my teenage guys. But before I do that, last year, there used to be this blog, actually, called I call it the Cyber Pollock blog. And I used to provide a lot of stats, a lot of information. I really liked it. They never put me in the top 8, but that's okay. But Mitch Pollock, he once said there's 3 simple rules to winning a championship. It's really simple. You avoid guys from the previous champion. Apple, check. You finish in the top 8 runs scored. Check. And you have at least 2 new players. Check, check. I get a little nervous drafting new players. We've all had some ups and downs with those. You can't just go get Thompson and Jarowski and hit gold. But when I went for my first newbie, I wasn't just going to go and randomly pick him out and hope that he was going to love our league. So I grabbed the guy that I've known since he was about 11 years old, skateboarding in his backyard. James Murphy had not played softball before, but I saw him play football. I saw him win a state high school title at Shore just a couple years back, and his dad's a pretty good ball player.